Welcome to the Equinety Podcast, where horse owners just like you share their incredible Equinety stories and how Equinety is changing their horses' lives. Whether you're searching for something to give your performance horse better focus, faster recovery, and more stamina, or in the extreme case where all hope seems lost, give your horse what it needs to help heal at a cellular level, you'll find it here. So jump in on today's episode to hear how Equinety is helping horses worldwide. Now, welcome your host, John Dowdy.
Hello and welcome to this week's Equinety Podcast. We are swinging into the great state of Tennessee. We've got Tina Simmons on the call this week. Tina, welcome to the Equinety Podcast.
Well, thank you. I'm really happy to be here and proud to talk about your wonderful product.
Well, and I'm proud to talk about your wonderful experience that you've had. So let's just jump right into that. Tell us a little bit about what was going on with your 27-year-old retired racehorse.
Well, over the years, she's developed some arthritis, and it's been getting worse and worse. And it was to a point to where we were thinking about putting her down because she was out in the field. She could barely walk to us to get her feed. We were actually taking her feed to her in the field. Wherever she stood, that's where we fed her. And I had saw this product on a advertisement, pop-up advertisement, and I had read some of the testimonials, and I really haven't read a product with so many testimonials. So I decided to give it a try, and we started her on it, and within 2 weeks, that mare was trotting to us. I mean, literally trotting to feed instead of us taking it. And my husband was just amazed with it. And so it was 2 weeks later, which would have been a month on it, she was loping. She was literally, loping and running out in the field and bucking. And we were just like, he said, she's acting like a 2-year-old.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, wow. Okay, let's back this up a little bit. That was a lot to take in. So you're telling everyone that's tuning in here. So you have a 27-year-old retired racehorse. The arthritis had settled in. She's also a hard keeper, you had mentioned to me before?
Oh, yes. Yeah, she was an extremely hard keeper.
Yeah.
She has been I've had her since she was 6.
Oh, wow.
And at 6 years old, she was hard to keep weight on. The only time she looked normal, and I don't mean that she was ribby or poor looking, but she was just always kind of a thin belt horse. And when she was pregnant is when, she'd look like she was a little fat, but she didn't look pregnant.
Oh,
so.
Yeah. So as the arthritis started setting in, I mean, it was getting to a point where you were seriously considering, putting her down because you didn't want her in pain. So you were also giving Butte, which, how did that help or not help?
Well, the Butte helped her pain, but she started getting stomach ulcers. And, you know how ulcer horses are, so bit on the Butte. And, and like I said, the arthritis and the lameness would continue, and get worse. So, like I said, this was almost a last-ditch effort for us to, try this product on her to see, because we were actually going to put her to sleep because I didn't want her to suffer. And when I tried that, it was just like her weight has increased. Her hair coat has gotten better. She was full of like rain rot and fungus. You know how they get that.
Yeah.
And I actually wish I would have took videos of her when this was happening, before I started. But I was a little skeptical because I had tried other products in the past that I spent several $100s for a bucket, and I didn't see any difference. So, for me to try something new, at the time I didn't think to do that because I thought, well, this has got good testimonials, but we'll just see if it's going to work on my horse.
So probably a little bit skeptical, but with all the testimonials, you were kind of feeling good about that.
Exactly. And I mean, it is absolutely a remarkable product. I mean, I saw that, still today, she's out there running around and happy, and and she's acting marish and stuff. And my husband's like, she's 27 years old, and look at her. So we have been really pleased with it. And
that's great.
Because of the way the product worked on her, I have a 3-year-old barrel horse in training, and he developed EPM. And so, I decided, well, if this works on her like that, and it says it helps all these different areas, I'm going to try it. And my horse is out there at Martha Josie's being trained by Ty Mitchell, who works for Martha Josie's, one of her main trainers. And told him to take a picture of this colt. And I said, I'm going to send you a product. And I said, I want your opinion about it, because he hadn't heard of it at the time. And I said, I want you to tell me how you think it works, if there's any difference, when you start him on it. And so he took a picture at day 1. And the colt didn't look bad, but he was just not puffed up. And, you could tell he lost a little weight from the EPM. And he took the picture, and 30 days later, he took another picture. And, that was a night and day difference. You could see the increased weight, the increase in his muscle mass, his hair coat. And so I asked him, it wasn't just visual, but I said, how is he behaving? And he said, he has more clear focus. He's more focused, and his recovery time improved.
Right.
So this is coming from somebody that is very well known, and Martha Josie was a 4-time world champion at the NFR. So he was very impressed by the product. And I told him about 4 months later, he sent me another picture. And that is where you really saw the difference, because that colt had muscle that, it was unbelievable. His muscles, you could truly see it. So when I didn't realize it as much until I put the pictures side by side, but I lined them all 3 up, and you could see the difference. Just like, wow. So, I'm really sold on this product, and because it helps in so many different areas.
Sure.
It's not, there's some out there just for hooves or just, and then they do make those that are supposed to be like 5-way, 6-way supplements. And I've never had any luck with those.
Yeah.
To me, they didn't. All they did is make my pockets emptier.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, we are definitely blessed. And for those of you tuning in for the first time, or maybe it's your second or third time, and you're thinking, well, what exactly is this Equinety Horse Excel, which is what we're specifically talking about on this podcast. The Equinety Horse Excel is 100% pure amino acids. There's no fillers, no sugars, no starches, and there's no loading dose. And the serving size is 5.2 grams, which is equivalent to about a rounded teaspoon. Now, Tina, I didn't ask you this question before, but what were your immediate thoughts when you received your tub and you saw this tiny little scoop?
That was really something that I was amazed by, because it is a tiny, tiny scoop. To me, it looks like something you could put like 4 or 5 drops of liquid in.
Yeah.
It's very small. And I thought, this product you're going to use this little, and people are raving and going on about this product. And the price, the tub lasts 100 days. If you get the
the $100 one, that's
the
100
days.
Yep.
the bigger can.
Yep.
It lasts. It's $1 a day. It's basically right at like $99.99 or something,
mm-hmm.
right at about $100.
Yep.
But you get 100 days, and that little bitty scoop is just all it takes. I might have started her a little bit twice a day, but I backed her off and just started doing it once a day.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all it took.
Yeah.
That little bitty amount of product. So it's very economical, and you see results with this.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying that. You really, really do see results with this product.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so what the amino acids in this product are specifically doing, if you don't know, they're specifically formulated to stimulate the pituitary gland, which is about the size of a pea. So whether it's you're, in this case, a 27-year-old retired senior horse or a 3-year-old up-and-coming horse or anything in between, it could be a mini or it could be a big draft horse. They all get the same scoop because the pituitary gland is roughly the same size, about the size of a pea. So by stimulating the pituitary gland to release hormones, these hormones are specific to helping the body heal at a cellular level. So what's really unique about this product, instead of buying a joint supplement because you need help with the joints, or hoof supplement because you need help with the hooves, or whatever the case is, there's a supplement or medication for everything out there. And, and not to say this is the end-all be-all. It's not a miracle supplement. It's amino acids. But we're actually giving the body what it needs to release its own hormones, and then therefore the body is deciding where to send those hormones with pinpoint accuracy. So this is a great example. You've got a 27-year-old hard keeper, an old injury which has caused the severe arthritis to the point where you were looking at putting this horse down, also had ulcers, rain rot, and a plethora of other things. And then you've got a 3-year-old that's in training, and so it helped this one in a completely different way with focus, muscle building, and everything else. The reason why, the only thing you did different is just, or I guess similar in both of these cases, is give 1 scoop of Equinety. So it affects every horse a little differently. So it's, in essence, it's customizing to each horse. But there will also be similarities in all the horses: softer, shinier coat, kind of filling out, they feel better. So those are pretty neat things. So, you know, again, if you're kind of tuning in, hearing about this for the first time, that's a little bit of info. And of course, our website has lots of information, and we've got over 50 podcasts similar to this one where people are sharing their stories. And that's pretty awesome. So getting back to your horses now, so how long have they been on product at this point?
The colt has been on it about 5 months, and the mare's been on it probably 6 months, because it was right after the 30-day mark on the mare that I said my colt has got to have this. Because now, you know, I mentioned again in his training, he had EPM. And so he was treated for EPM, and I don't know how many people are dealing with EPM horses, but this product, I mean, he put his weight back on, built his muscle back up, and there's some horses that don't actually ever recover from the EPM. Yeah. So to have a product that works in so many different ways, that is a true blessing.
Yeah, absolutely. And we found that with horses with EPM, PSSM, Cushing's, and IR, I mean, this product is great. It really helps. And again, I want to stress it's not something that we're not saying to replace other medications or anything like that. It's nothing like that. What we always recommend is whatever condition or things that you're giving to your horse currently, don't change anything. Just add this to it. Because again, it's only 5.2 grams serving size. And as you mentioned a couple times, how quickly it begins working. As a matter of fact, it actually starts working in 24 hours. And again, we're talking about the Equinety Horse Excel amino acid. So with it started working in 24 hours, now it's just a matter of how quickly you can begin seeing things. In your case, it was a couple weeks. And I would say the vast majority, and I'm talking upper 90 percentile of people, notice changes in 30 days or less. That's actually what we call the 30-day challenge, which is what you did with your stud. You take a picture before you start, and then 30 days later. So now one of the, and again, we're talking specifically Equinety Horse Excel, because just last week, which at the time of this recording is at the end of March here, we just released a secondary product, which is called Equinety Ultimate OEC, which is a flaxseed-based omega-3 oil with 1,000 IUs of vitamin E and colloidal silver all-in-one. So the purpose of that is to help feed the cells and give the cells some nutrition after they've been repaired from the amino acids. So that's all that information is on our website, but wanted to put it out there for all those tuning in that may not have heard about that yet. But, well, Tina, this is, I know will be very encouraging for a lot of people going through similar situations. If there's somebody that still might be on the fence or thinking, hey, is this stuff for real, or are you just saying it is? Is there anything that you might be able to say, or other than what you've already talked about, that, you might want to tell them to get off the fence and give it a try?
Yeah, I definitely, if you're on the fence about it, it's $1 a day. That's less than a cup of coffee. So, I mean, if you can give something a try, this is a product to try. And like I said, it works in so many different instances for so many different conditions. And I mean, I witnessed a couple of them myself. So I definitely say, if they're skeptical, and actually I will recommend that you take pictures or video or something, or an x-ray, whatever problem your horse is having, and do the challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all I can really say is just, I mean, I recommend strongly for you to do the challenge. Yeah. And you'll see that this product does work, because I was a skeptic. I came into it thinking, oh, well, I've tried so many different things that, but it was a last-ditch effort. I liked the reviews and the testimonials, and I tried it, and I am 100% happy that I did. Yeah. Because now I didn't have to put my mare down.
And isn't that the greatest thing? Because your mare's happy, you're happy, and you don't have to walk as far to feed her now.
That's right. This mare was extra special. I didn't say this in the beginning or anything, because that doesn't really apply to the product, because you can love a horse whether they've, not produced anything or not. But she produced New Mexico's champion age stallion 3 years in a row, and he won several $100,000. She also produced the winner of the West Texas Futurity, and he was the fastest qualifier. So his picture is on the cover of Speed Horse.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, and I mean, every one of her colts that she's had have ROM'd that went to race, and she produces at least a 90 speed index.
Wow.
And several of them had over 100 speed index. So, I mean, she was a pretty special mare. She gave us a lot in return. So that's the least we can do.
No, that's fantastic.
Is to give her something back for all that she gave us.
Sure. Absolutely. Well, Tina Simmons out of Tennessee, thank you so much for taking the time to share your stories here on the Equinety Podcast.
Absolutely. And I was honored to be able to talk about this great product. Thank you so much.
You bet. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
That's all for this episode of the Equinety Podcast. For more information on purchasing Equinety, be sure to visit our website at teamequinety.com, where you'll also find product information as well as more testimonials on how others have seen amazing results by implementing Equinety into their horse's supplement regime. We'll have more stories on how Equinety is helping horses worldwide right here on a future episode of the Equinety Podcast.